Welcome back, fishing friends, to another adventure. We're up here on the Red River this morning. I hadn't been here in a long time, and the water's flowing. They've got it coming out of the dam, and man, it is super chilly. There's ice all over these rocks, and you can kind of see it glistening in the grass there. So I'm gonna be throwing different stuff. I'm gonna start off with this little Big O, fire it in around this. They kind of re-released some new colors, and so I'm gonna fire this dude out there. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it drift past all the American pelicans way out there, and then start cranking it in. I've done that before in years past, because this guy, he dives pretty decent, but it could come back up pretty quick. And we'll see if we can catch something. Hey, if you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate all the support. My name's Alan, and I'm just always usually fishing somewhere. I'm throwing this one on the Mojo with a loose speed spin 300, 12 and 12. Now I got to be careful with braid because of the ice. If it ices up and it gets caught in there, yikes, it can really jack your line up. But the sun's up enough, even though we're like at 27, 25 degrees, the sun's up. I think we'll be okay. We'll test it out and see. If not, I can switch over to the straight fluoro that I've got on a bait caster. But check out that sun. Check out all the heavy current. Man, I hadn't been here in a long time. So you can see a bunch of white pelicans over there on the beach, relaxing. Well, let's get this fired out there and see what we can catch. All right, boys, we're hooked up. I know the sun's in your eyes, but I'm up here on the Red River, icy morning, throwing a Big O and that kind of chartreuse G-Fleck color. I was letting it drift way out there, and then I started bringing her in. You see the white pelicans way out there. I gotta be careful because on these rocks it's super icy. I can't even see what it is because of the crazy sunlight. I wonder if it's a gar or a drum. What is this? Oh, it's a nice striper. Let's go, boys, let's go. Or it's a hybrid, maybe. Check that out. All right, let's get her unhooked. Ugh. Alright, there we go. Check that out. Let's get a quick measurement and see how big she is. I forgot about that. "21 inches. All right, my hands are damp, so she should be okay. Check that out. There you go. Back into the inky depths. Man, that was fun. Okay, let me show you what I'm throwing, and that didn't take long. That just barely got here. Right there. That Big O in that G-Fleck color. I'm pretty sure this is that G-Fleck. They came out with these a couple months ago, re-released them. Look at that chartreuse color. So what I did was I just threw it out in the current, just let it go all the way down. Almost spooled myself, and then I brought it in. So there's one. Alright guys, there she goes. I'm just gonna let her drift all the way down. You can see the ice right here. Sorry about the sunlight, but it helps me kind of see the line. I just gotta hope one of those pelicans or a seagull doesn't snipe it. That'd be funny. So if that happens, I just cut the line and let her go. Unless I give it just a straight yank and yank it out of the bird's grasp. But yeah, it's a cold morning. This is that week where the whole country was like under super frigid conditions. Our coldest temperatures we've had since that other polar vortex a couple years ago. But I don't ever mind it too much. I know up at the farm up in Iowa, they got down with like 15 below or something. Wind chill a little bit deeper than that. Crazy stuff. Anyway, so I'm just letting this spool out. The current's taking it. And I'll get her down decent. So like maybe I've got like 50 yards, well, 25 yards left. That's what I'm gonna go for. I've done this before. I've done it with top water. I've let it drift way out there, and where those stripers will come up and just pop it. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah. As I was saying, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I enjoy making all kinds of videos and doing all kinds of fun stuff with fishing, and sometimes I'll make some points of interest videos. I hadn't done that in a while. So we'll see how this goes. Just keep letting line out. You can kind of see there. Heavy current because they let the water come out of the dam. You can see that. It's just swooshing through. So I may throw a swim jig through there. Let's see how that goes. See, I just barely let it sit there and the current will just take this right out. Now we're getting close to where I'm going to start reeling. We'll see how it goes. Ooh, I see stuff dive bombing down there. So with the purple top on it, hopefully they won't bug it. Now there are rocks. You can see where the rapids are. There are rocks in here. So that's why I picked the Big O, because it doesn't dive too deep. And even if it did hit into those rocks, it's designed to bounce right off of those. Then I got to also monitor the ice in my guides and on the line. See that? I almost got the whole spool emptied. The pelicans buzzing around. All right, boys. Now we're gonna start cranking her in. There's definitely some pressure on here. So I just do crank, 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 and then I stop. Crank, 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 stop. Because when you stop, it's gonna, you know, pull it back. All right, boys, we're hooked up on another one. Yeah, these are definitely stripers. I looked at that one, I was thinking hybrid? No. I've got some big hybrids here, but he was definitely a striper. So this little strategy of letting her float all the way down there and then just bringing her through. Well, this is a good fish right here. She's way out there. So the key was reeling it and then pausing it, reeling it, pausing it. This is a different kind of fishing, that's for sure. The thing is, with the sun there, I can't really see what she is. She's got to be a striper. Oh yeah, she sees the shallow water. She's starting to freak out. I just don't want to get cut off on the rocks down there. What is this? Is it a drum? No, it's a striper. I said, does it look like a drum? Yeah, it's a striper. Come on. There we go. Ooh, well, she choked it. But it's a big fish. All right, boys, there we go. Check that out. That's a nice one. Let's get her back in there. Ooh. There she goes. Well, that was a lot of fun right there. All right, guys. Boy, he just had that thing way down his throat. And I had to really do some surgery to get it out of there, but I got it out of there. So that's two. Just doing my same deal, just letting her drift way down there. Sorry about the sunlight, but it's just, I'm on the north side of the river up here in Oklahoma, just letting her run, and so I'm looking back into the sun. Well, it pulls tight too. Once you let her out, you start cranking it in, it fights that current, and that's got great action. I need to show you guys, I didn't show you, but one of the hooks on that thing got snapped off up at the front, one of the front ones. That thing just inhaled that and just crushed it. I usually run stock hooks. That's part of the challenge for me, is once in a while I'll put on those Fusion 19s or Gamakatsus, but I like to go with what it comes with, you know. I know people think I'm crazy, but just a good old-fashioned challenge. Yeah, I've been out here before and I've hooked into big drum when I was throwing a crankbait, and then also massive carp, and I couldn't believe it. Carp hit the Smithwick. I think I got those in some videos from last year. So I'm just letting this drift out there. I did one drift, didn't get anything, bringing it back in, so we'll let this one get out there. So for my first striper adventure of 2025, boy, I had a fish come up right in here and hit the surface. I was like, what? I think that was a big carp, but there's big gar in here too. I mean, big gar. I've seen them before floating by, and I mean, there's just no way you could land one of them. So I like going this Big O because it gets down just a few feet. It won't get hung up in anything. And you know, stripers love top water. And we're still early in the morning here. And so all I do is just kill it and it'll float back up. And with the current, it'll float back and then come up on the surface and give them time to see it. Plus it's in that cool, I'm pretty sure that's the G-Fleck color that they re-released. It's a re-release and it's just awesome. It's in that purple chartreuse. All right, we're getting there. All right, guys, check it out right there. He took out one of the trebles. Bent it clear over. I guess not take it out, but you know what I mean? Look at that, just bent way over. I'll have to do some tinkering with that. Man, it's a lot of fun fishing this. All right, guys, check it out how peaceful it is. They shut the current off coming out of the generators. They cut the current off upstream. So now I've got very little current. I mean, there's just a hair, not like what it was. So I don't know, I'm gonna try the drift one more time. But it's not all raging like it was before. So it doesn't die immediately, it slowly goes away. And I was like, what's going on? It's real quiet. And then all of a sudden I looked and the rapids aren't there where the rocks are. Is it still pulling line out? Barely. Look at that, barely. So we'll see how the drift goes. Man. Interesting how a flip of a switch can change stuff, huh? Yeah, I'm looking at my line now, it's just barely moving. So there's not much drift at all, so I don't know how this is gonna go. I gotta watch these rocks. There's still ice all in here. I mean, this is just rock city in here. All right, guys, not much else with that. I'm gonna try a couple other things and then we'll see how it goes. All right, guys, here we go with a spark shad on a number 4 Meps Aglia. We're gonna bomb this around. Let her sink. There is some current, just a hair. And then we'll just do our slow retrieve just to get the blades going. Nothing crazy. Excuse me. You know, I walked this shoreline before and found all kinds of lures. I may do that before I go. Oh yeah, check that out. That looks epic. All right. Let's see if we can have a little fun throwing this. Yeah, that looks amazing. Like it's a dying shad or something. When you kill it on the crank. Man, I love these spark shads. This works too on the Big Joshy and a Yum forward facing FF minnow. That forward facing minnow. The cool thing about throwing this MEPS, guys, is if you let it sink and you really slow crank it, it'll stay to the middle and bottom of the water column. But if you crank it a little bit quicker, you can get it up in the top, just under the surface, and it almost acts like a topwater bait, and you can get some fish doing that too. So you just play with it and you can get the depth that you want. Man, when that thing, you stop cranking and it just dies, it just looks phenomenal. So I love this little modification. It works best with the Spark Shad, although it works pretty good with the Scarborough. Different ones I've tried, the FF sonar minnow, the Big Joshi, the Sakamata. Man, that looks just terrific. Well, guys, I didn't take you along for the lure hunting because I didn't find anything. We're gonna try this little cove here. It gets really deep. We're gonna throw the MEPS through here. Then there's a little, oh, I thought I had a hit on the fall there. There's a little bit of ice still around here, so I gotta be careful, but I think the day's gonna get up to low 40s. I've got some big fish in this little stretch right here. Maybe you can see a little bit better when I bring it in, when I stop cranking, how it just dies. So if you've never tried that modification, do it and try your favorite swim baits. The thing is, I don't use any electronics, but this would work great for sonar fishing because of that blade. And a big swim bait on it. You can go you've seen me throw the small ones, catch fish on it. Check it out, guys. Look how calm it is now. It's like glass out here. You wouldn't know that this is a Red River. All right, that's gonna wrap it up for me for today. Thanks for hanging out with me on this striper adventure up on the Red River. Until next time, I will see you then. Bye-bye. Now get out there and get your lures wet.